Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Screen Chronicles. My name is Steve, and with me, as always, is Deniken, Colby, Griffin,
Deniken.
Deniken,
Deniken.
Deniken. I don't know if I can.
Denafash.
Sorry you had to listen to us butcher that real quick, but now you know what we're talking about today. We are talking about season 4 of Outlander, the show on Stars. Yeah, we're going to give you a brief spoiler-free review here in the beginning, where then we're going to get into our usual spoiler talk / recap sort of mashup. So you get a good picture of season 4, and you also get our weird commentary and thoughts on what happened.
Yeah, so it is on Stars, but season 4 is still on Netflix, by the way, if you don't have Stars. But for the season 5 and 6, you got to have Stars.
At least in the US, there was, I think some of our fans were telling us that all 5 seasons are on Netflix, but not here in the US. It's only the first 4.
So we are going to give you a brief spoiler-free recap, and then we're going to jump into the nitty-gritty details of Claire and Jamie and their adventure, which is in America now, which at the end of season 3. Yes.
So we're going to keep this first beginning part here spoiler-free of what we think. Just a brief little talk about it, and then we're going to get into spoiler review. If you haven't listened to our previous talks on Outlander, our first 3 seasons, make sure to check that out on YouTube and podcast. Give that a watch and or listen. And if you like this, give us a like. Let us know what you thought about this season too. Don't leave any spoilers for season 6 though, because we know that
season 5,
or season 5, in case people are going season by season here. Because we know the books by Diana Gabaldon that the series is based off of go pretty loyally to season per book. So this season is based off of the book The Drums of Autumn by Diana Gabaldon. Colby, tell me some general thoughts about season 4 of Outlander.
Yeah, there were some definitely jaw-dropping moments this season. Definitely some aspects of the show that I absolutely loved. Some main themes are brought about, and we are now in the greatest country ever to ever exist. Just kidding.
But I think this was actually still, even though this takes place in the United States, I think they still are filming in Scotland, even for the America stuff. So
we are now in the US, and a lot of the themes that come in and out, it's really interesting because Claire knows what the history of the US is, but Jamie does not. The people around her do not. And so it's kind of cool to see her perspective of this world, knowing what it will become. Some things that frustrated me a little bit, I think, was some of the characters and their relationships with each other, the way they treat each other. So when we talk about it today, we got to do our best to kind of put ourselves in each character's shoes.
You had a specific character you didn't like. At least I remember when we were first going through, or when you were first watching this season. We won't say
Let's
who.
Get to it. Yeah.
Some of the things I didn't like were like you said, some of the relationship drama things that it just seemed like there were just some big leaps. It's very dramatic. Again, I wasn't alive in the 1960s or the 1760s. So I don't know what people were like back then. But yeah, some very dramatic moments. So I think some poor choices made by people that just made you go like, what? So I don't know if that's, again, because we have not read the books. I don't know if those were things just from the books that the show was staying loyal to, or if the show was deviating more. I know some people say that the show deviates more as the show goes on. But yeah, generally though, I liked it. I liked this season. It was enjoyable that they switched up the setting. I miss Scotland.
Sure, I do too.
But I like that the show is just doing something new. But it still brings in Scottish culture. It still brings in some of the similar themes from the first season. Some of the themes that I really liked from the first 2 seasons, I'd even say. Yeah, there's some decent action. You can tell that the show is, because now the show's gotten more attention, that some of the budget is a little better. Different explosions and scenes look a little better. I like the characters now. Jamie and Claire, I think they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think everyone acts well. I think everyone in everyone's performance, just as always in the show, they think they kill it. But I really enjoyed Claire and Jamie, I would say, this season. And a few other characters, like young Ian becomes a favorite of mine.
I like it too, because Claire's now she's just there to stay and like live the rest of her days. You remember, like, before when she was there was this whole sort of situation, like, how am I going to get back? Do I want to get back? Now it's like, all right, so she's just vibing with it now.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm going to just sit back.
That was the mission, was to go back and stay there. Now she's there.
So she's got like a different mentality, I feel like, now.
That's what I like. I like that drama is now removed from the Jamie and Claire stuff. Like their drama of her going back to the future,
which was good. It's not that like it wasn't good, but it would have been too redundant. They have new drama now, you know.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And I'd say some of the drama can be annoying. And like you said, though, I like the Claire and Jamie drama when it started, but now some of this drama it makes me like, I don't know.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
It's a little more frustrating. And there was some frustrating moments, though, if you listen to our season 2 talk with Claire from there at times. So I mean, that's I guess that's something the show does.
Yeah.
But I'd say generally I liked it. I like the setting. I like the new trials and tribulations they're going through. Yeah, I'd say I liked it. Cool. Overall, I'd recommend sticking with the show.
What would you rate it this season?
I'm giving this season an 8.5.
Nice.
What are you giving it, Colby?
I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. Very, very good score.
So that's a Screen Chronicles average of 8.25, Colby. That's right. Math in my head. Because I give 8.5s all the time and you give 8s all the time. So now I can do that just in my head.
I know. I'm slightly meaner than you are.
You're slightly meaner to shows than I am. But yeah, tell us what you guys thought of the show here. We're going to get into our spoiler talk here now. We're going to go a little more about the big character points that happen, the big plot points you need to know going into season 5, and also probably things that are going to carry over into the new season 6 as well. So you have been spoiler warned, people.
You've been warned.
All right.
So now that you've been warned, and before we jump into some of the specific characters, I just want to talk about the cool intro they had to the season. The very first episode where they had 2000 back to 2000 BC before Colby. And
before Colby.
That's what it is, right?
Yes. Yes.
I just thought it was before I was born.
Yes.
2000 BC, these ancient people are creating their own stone circle, and Claire's got this overlaying speech that she's giving about our fascination with circles. It's just, I liked that to show like this magic, whatever magic is in the show that allows time travel is like so deeply rooted. Our ancient ancestors knew about it, and it's still being used, you know?
Yeah. And that was one thing that really drew me to the first season as well. It had the fantasy element of time travel and these stones that can pull you through. But it was mostly a historical fiction show. It's cool now that there's some more fantastical elements in this season. One of the big things that you should know going forward is that there was another time traveler who came to this period, Ottertooth.
Yeah, we find this out, I think, halfway through this season.
Yeah. So we find Ottertooth is someone who time traveled from probably in the 70s, 60s, I think is when they showed, back to,
I think so.
Before Claire was there. So like, I don't know, 10 BC, 10 before Claire. I don't know.
So yeah, and speaking of like the fantastical stuff, she finds this out because she finds the skull when she's out in the woods at one point, and it's raining, and she has this vision of this Native American guy. It's a pretty intense scene. I remember texting you saying like, oh, I wish I saw your face like when that scene happened, because it was a little bit.
And there was lightning and rain
and ghost ghost Native American.
just out of nowhere with the lightning flashes.
I know. So cool scene. Looked
And that's
great.
what, yeah, that's what I was getting with the fantasy too.
But
Is we
then,
see this, and he moves her boots even to lead her to go somewhere.
she looks at the skull after the fact and notices that it's got like silver, or it's got fillings, right?
Yeah.
Teeth. And she's like, well, those weren't invented until whatever year you said. Like, I'm not exactly sure the year they said, but that proved to her, is like, oh, he must have been a time traveler. He must have come back too, just like I did.
Yeah. And we find out, she gets this stone off of his corpse. And then some of the Native Americans tell her that this guy came from the future saying we need to kill all the white men because they're going to destroy our nation, our Native American nations, and there's going to be none of us left. And he was giving a warning and trying to rally the troops, and they all just thought he was crazy, so they banished him, they killed him.
Yeah, that goes back to this theme that we've been talking about since our first Outlander talk, about how no matter how hard the characters try to change history or change the fate, it just seems to find its way there somehow. This guy comes back and tries to warn them. But that theme, like can we escape the fate?
It doesn't seem like it so far. It doesn't seem like you can change history with the stones at all, other than now you are back there. And I guess things that you do can show up in the future now. Like Claire signed that deed. Yeah. But again, it's just like, well, did that always happen? Or what, time travel paradoxes.
They couldn't stop the Battle of Culloden, no matter how hard they tried. And they tried real hard.
Yeah.
But it kept just like finding its way back there.
Yeah, they tried to stop it, then they tried to win it. And now this guy, he tried to go back and change the fate, the genocide of the Native American people, and he got killed. So
but now she has his gemstone.
Yes.
And she also kind of puts two and two together. It's like, oh, there may be another circle or something, and which we'll find out later.
Yeah, we see that there is another time travel circle here in the United States. We see.
I think it may be, if I remember correctly, it might be in New York State, by the way. Or at least somewhere on the way to New York State.
Damn you, New Yorkers, getting all the stuff.
That's
like where the aliens will land too, and then you get the time circles. Like,
well, they go, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We're going to back it up in a second, but they go to the Mohawk Nation. At one point in this, or some characters do.
Yeah. Roger,
a very poor, unfortunate character does.
Poor Roger,
who does not belong there.
Roger
but
gets it this season.
Yeah, I grew up very, very close to the Mohawk Nation, Utica, New York area, and it's considered the Mohawk Valley. It's happening right in my backyard.
Cool stuff. Have you found the stones? Have you found the circle?
I have been looking.
Would you use them? Would you, if let's say it existed and you knew that they could actually travel back in time, you go up and you hear the buzz, are you going to touch a stone or not?
Oh my God, that's a great question. I love history so much, but at the same time, as much as I love history and I learn more about history, I'm very thankful for the time that I live in now.
Yes.
Where if I get an infection, I can go and get it fixed. But
I think you die from an infection back then.
So I don't know that I would. I mean, I love the idea of going on an adventure. Maybe, I don't know.
It's funny because like everything eventful happens to like Claire and Brianna and Roger, when they all go back through the circles, like people try and kill them and they're chased after. And like, I would imagine if like I went back, everyone just wouldn't even care. They'd just be like, like nothing would happen to me. People like, get a job. And it's like, I just work. I wouldn't meet anyone cool, like I would have no like crazy romantic experience. It would just be like, just like me, like as a cobbler or something.
Because you're not insanely hot like Claire. So,
or Roger.
I remember Claire went back in time. She was like the best looking woman that anybody in that time period had ever seen, ever.
Oh yeah.
The cleanest.
She was just like 10 steps. Like, hey, you're not covered in pig shit like the rest of us.
Oh, I guess I could do what Claire did though, and like just prepare. You're just like,
That's what I was thinking. Is I
maybe I
think I
would
would
then.
prepare, and then I would try, and if it's gems, I'm taking some extra gems so I can come back through. If I get there and it's just like a herd of buffalo running at me, I'm just like I'm turning right around.
Yeah, because I do a lot of hikes in this area, and I always like to like sit back and think sometimes like, man, I'd love to just like see what it was like hundreds of years ago,
Yeah.
like 500 years ago. What
What if it even like it took you back to like prehistoric times, you know what I mean? Like saber-toothed cats and stuff. Like not even
That'd
like
be
cool historical moments, just like crazy, like like dinosaurs. You know what I mean?
it would be cool for about 5 seconds until you got eaten.
But that's a big plot point this season, though, is we see that there is other circles. I mean, we knew
There are.
from season 3 in Jamaica there was the pool circle. There's like a circle
Right.
above stones
and
and the pool
and they're
below.
not all the same. They all have like different, every person has like a different setting,
Yeah.
like years. So let's get the whiteboard out here. Claire left for, no, we're not doing this again. Go back to our other videos and watch us try to explain it. Kind of backing it up to where we left off from season 3.
Yeah.
Claire and Jamie had washed up on the shores of what would become the United States of America.
They land in Georgia.
Yeah. And so we were very, excited to see what was going to come of this season. The season kind of starts with them already having, what city are they in the beginning?
Somewhere in North Carolina.
So they're in this town, and we find Jamie and Claire. Hayes, one of Jamie's guys, had been arrested.
Yeah, if you
And
remember, he was
so,
one of the other Scottish guys that came with Jamie on the boat when they were coming,
Yeah.
when they were looking for young Ian.
Yeah. And so he's going to be executed because he apparently had killed a man, even though he claimed to have done it, in self-defense. When Jamie is kind of talking to him for the last time, there's a man sitting next to them. And we're not going to go detail by detail through every episode of the season, but we're starting here because a very important character is sitting there, and he asked for a sip of the whiskey that Jamie had offered Hayes. And that man, we come to find out, is Stephen Bonnet.
Yeah, I remember. What did you think when you first saw Stephen Bonnet here? I was like, here's this Scottish guy. I was like,
Irish.
I'm not Irish, sorry. Well, Irish guy, didn't really look anything. I was just like, he's just some smart ass Irish guy here,
I wasn't sure if he wasn't going to become a good guy at this point, or a good character.
But if you watch this season, he's not a good character. In fact, he's one of the worst.
He's one of the worst, but he definitely makes it an interesting show. He's one of those bad guys who, we don't have
Jack Black.
Have Blackjack Randall anymore, who was like the worst of the worst of the worst kind of bad guy you could ever imagine. They got to introduce somebody who makes you poop your pants a little bit.
Right? Yeah. This guy isn't as bad as Jack Black. But he's definitely
pretty bad,
he's like as close as you can get without just repeating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he's interesting, and he's very manipulative, and he can be extremely charming.
That's the thing.
That's the thing about him. He can make you think, oh, I'm going to be a great guy. And then he'll just do something horrific. So anyway, he escapes during this execution.
Yeah. He was supposed to be hung like everyone else. Like Hayes ends up getting hung.
Hayes gets hung. Yeah. Leslie is super upset, charges the thing. He gets held back. And I think that's what kind of triggers everybody. A couple of guys try to escape. And then Bonnet kind of like sneaks out.
Yeah, everyone else is just fighting. He just like looks around and just like, I'm just not gonna do anything. I'll just sneak away.
There's like one guy when he's like, excuse me. There's like one guy in the crowd that's like, yeah, yes. Go ahead. Later on, they're like taking Hayes' body to be buried.
Yeah.
And they bury it, and then all of a sudden they hear something in the back of the cart. Well, Stephen Bonnet had stowed himself away. And this is where he kind of talks his way out of it, because Jamie's initial reaction is, you're a crook. He finds out, why were you going to be executed? And he says piracy, thieving, but he kind of sweet talks his way into convincing them, A, to not kill him or turn him in, and B, to kind of harbor him until they can drop him off at a creek.
And Jamie's like the only one who's just like, I don't think we should do this. Like this guy, he's a bad guy. We can't trust this guy. Everyone's like, well, he's saying he knew Hayes, and he's acting all nice and charming, and
listen to that accent.
And listen to his accent.
Come on.
And just listen to his accent. Lucky Charms.
There you go. Calibrate it.
Gotta calibrate me accent with me Lucky Charms. Sorry, Irish fans. It's just bad. You can make fun of my accent, however you want. They take him along. Then they say they'll hide him, try get him past the British here, and checkpoint on his way. Jamie and Claire are just seem really tight, really solid now this season. Doesn't seem they're just husband and wife now, and they're just on it and
living life, they're
just living life.
They're a team.
They sneak him through, and he notices both her wedding rings, and he makes a comment on that. And he's like, wow, your husband's very progressive for 1767. And and she's like, yeah, he's dealt with a lot of my shit. And
and this is like during their heart to heart, right?
Yeah, like, he's giving a little heart to heart
because when they got stabbed or they got stopped, remember, he's in the back pretending to be a corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, and those two soldiers went up with the bayonets, and just like, oh, let's just make sure it's dead.
Yeah, they were being so over the top, like with their guard duties here. It was just like like what, why do you have to be so invasive,
But I guess it just nicked him. There was like a lamb's leg or something that it had, or pork maybe, I can't remember, that it had punctured, but it nicked him. So Claire's sewing him up, and that he's being a little bit of a sweet talker here, kind of gaining her trust a little bit, saying like,
he seems likable.
He does seem likable. The actor does a fantastic job.
He even warns them as they're going away. He says to watch out for robbers and thieves on the river, because they're going to take a boat to Aunt Jocasta's place. So Jamie's Aunt Jocasta, she is the sister of his mother and Dougal, and she's there. She has a plantation here in North Carolina. So they're going to go down the river, go see her. And when they're on their way, lo and behold, Stephen Bonnet, who they had set free, hijacks the boat, kills Leslie.
America. This song plays the whole time.
Yes.
Which it was like the first time I feel like in the show they did something like that. Am I wrong?
It was a very unique moment.
It was very unique to like put a song like that in Outlander.
And like the audio for the whole scene was just silent, except the music that was playing.
I thought it was a great effect. I thought it was great.
It was great too, because
it was dramatic.
When they showed the recap, the next episode, like you could actually, they showed it then with there was like actual audio then, like you could hear what Stephen Bonnet said, and you could hear Claire like, no, not my ring.
Right.
And so it's like they acted out the scene, they had lines and everything, and they're just like, whew. So I thought that was pretty cool, because then you can still see what they're doing and saying.
Yeah.
But you get the gist of it without ever like hearing anything. So I thought that was a pretty cool scene to do.
Shocking scene, I would say.
Yeah.
At this point, not realizing how bad Bonnet was going to be. And he just does horrible things on this boat. And he's got a whole posse with him. And he just like cuts Leslie's throat like it's nothing to him. Just like, and then he like takes the rings, which was really frustrating, because that one ring, they both mean so much to Claire, both rings. He gets like the gem out of her mouth, I think. What was it?
Yeah, I think she hit a gem there or something.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, Jamie, like before this, just like gave her a new surgical kit and everything.
Oh, so frustrating.
I think that got taken. I was like, so what was the point of like the show even showing us he got her that, other than just making me more mad at Stephen Bonnet for stealing?
That's what it did. That's what it did.
Because he was like, I saved up my money and bought you this nice medical kit. And Stephen Bonnet just immediately shows up and hijacks it.
So Stephen Bonnet, the episode ends like that, and we're going to meet Stephen Bonnet more later, but maybe we should talk a little bit about Aunt Jocasta now and her relationship with Claire and Jamie, because this is...
I also want to bring up one of my favorite moments too, was after Hayes got hanged. Hung sounds a little dirty when I don't know when I
whatever.
and,
They put a rope around his neck
ooh.
and they
we'll just
sure they know what we're talking about.
After Hayes was killed
With a rope.
with a rope. After that happened, they were at a bar and they just started singing like this old like Scottish song. And I thought it was a really cool scene because a lot of people, you know, when they think about like colonial America, I think they just kind of think about like the Patriot and the fact that like everyone seems like they're just like sort of like new America, old kind of British people. But like America back then and even, you know, into the 40s and, you know, it's still America's still diverse today. But I mean, back then all the Irish people hung out together, all the Scottish people hung out together.
Just people, immigrants, you know, from
so
all over.
So it's just, it was really cool.
Immigrants to the Native Americans who were being.
Yeah. It was really cool to just see like this is a Scottish bar they're hanging out in. Even though they're in America, we're still getting like the Scottish culture and the vibes here. And it makes it even kind of more unique because now it's like it's these people trying to hold on to their heritage while getting this new cultural identity sort of thing. So, totally. But again, it's just a quick scene. It was a cool song to hear. I really dug that scene.
Yeah,
it was emotional. I think I might have teared up the first time I saw it, honestly.
Totally.
And young Ian got a dog. He got like a wolf-looking dog.
Rollo. So I guess
Vikings.
You'd watch Vikings and like Rollo.
I was literally thinking, I just imagine like the actor who plays like Rollo just like crawling around on all fours, and they just they get to Antichastas.
Sick dog though. Awesome dog.
Yeah.
So anyway, they get to Antichastas. She is a slave owner. It's called River Run, her estate. It seems like she does treat her slaves well.
As well as you can for owning slaves.
I know.
And she's blind, by the way.
And she has a successful plantation that she has.
Yeah. And she is nice. I mean, again,
she's nice. Yeah.
It seems like the guy who's second in command is a slave. He's a black man. Mm-hmm. And she's very, nice to him. Again, she owns another human being, and like he has to do what she says, technically by law, because that's what was going on at the time. Not a right thing to do. But again, she's at least nice to them. She's not like what we see some of the other people who own slaves are like.
And he seems loyal, like he seems like he would do anything for her.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
That's how you can tell she treats him well, but it's still Claire takes so much umbrage to this whole situation. Because she's from a time where it's
now slavery has ended, and she herself is just a very progressive minded person. Exactly. She's a physician she became a physician in the 40s, the 50s.
Yeah, she had to overcome prejudice because she was a woman.
Yeah.
Or she's not going to hide her distaste of this whole operation here.
Yeah.
Jamie, I think, kind of has to I don't like it either, but it's the situation we're in right now.
And Jacasa's just like, what the hell are you mad about? Like,
I know.
Like, you're in a nice place getting free shit, and you don't complain about the fancy dresses you're wearing.
Aunt Jocasta, she is nice, and she wants to give Jamie this plantation, and Claire is just like, well, I don't want to own slaves.
Yeah.
So Jamie's like, well, what if we take it and we free all the slaves, and then everybody else in the town is just like, what?
Yeah, and they also say it's like this really, as far as like a legal process goes, it's like nearly impossible. It's
right. It's something like you have to prove that they've saved a life, and then you have to pay 100 pieces of silver for each one.
Mm-hmm. So it's just it just is it possible? But again, like legally, then they wouldn't own the estate probably then, because they broke those laws. And then one of the slaves is being mistreated at another plantation, and he strikes back at one of the slave owners, and he gets hung up on a hook, which was just, oh my god. And then so Claire and Jamie just wreck house going there, and they actually end up they went there to sort of stop they were told to sort of stop the slave uprising. That's what they were told, but instead they end up helping out the man who is enslaved, and they bring him back to the house. And like you said, everyone is just in an uproar. They're just freaking out. Like, what are you doing? This guy
Angry
needs to
mob
be
outside
killed.
while they're operating. Jacasta's not happy about it. She like makes a deal with Jamie, like you have to give him up by midnight. And so what they end up doing is still heroic, I guess, what they do, because she's trying. She wants to save this guy, but she knows it's inevitable. Like he's going to die. Whether it's she doesn't save him now or they're going to hang him, in a second. She gives him the sleeping thing.
I think what she gave Colin Mackenzie,
Yeah,
right?
so that he'll die peacefully instead of in pain and in a shameful way.
Yeah.
Basically, at midnight, Jamie carries out the already gone man. They do what they do with him, but they at least gave him that mercy.
But that whole situation makes it pretty clear, like, oh, we're not gonna work here at River Run,
This is not a good fit.
And they don't have money because they were robbed by Bonnet. So what they end up doing then is they did receive an offer from Governor Tryon. He offers him 10,000 acres, and he wants the immigrants to come settle on his land. He's going to be the owner of that land. In return, then he's going to work for the British military. He's going to be going after the regulators, and he'd be working for the crown then.
This is weird for two reasons. One, they're already an enemy to Jamie. I mean, that's who he's fought against his whole life.
That's who he fought against his whole life.
Two, like Claire knows, and we know, like what side he's joining here.
Yeah, and what's about to happen soon, because it's 1767 right now, the year they're in right now. So just a few years from now, we're gonna have some things are going to be declared. Some independences are going to be happening.
There's still time, but still, it's just like you're seeing him accept this offer. You're kind of like biting your lip a little bit, like.
Yeah, it's just strange for him to do that. Like you said, it's just he fought against the British military his whole life. He wanted independence from England as Scotland. He wanted Scotland to be, or I guess did they want necessarily? They wanted their own king on the throne, I guess. But I mean, he was still patriotic in what he was doing, right? Yeah. He didn't like the British military, the redcoats, and now that's who he's like signing on with here.
Yeah,
they end up, eventually scouting out some land. They end up having to take this offer then.
Yeah, and who brings them there is Fraser's Ridge. They find and the mountain man who's John Quincy Myers. He helps bring them in.
John Quincy Myers, what a dude.
He's a cool dude. Befriends Ian.
Ian really admires him and his mountain man way of life. And
there's a little bit of foreshadowing here as he warns Ian about the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
We know what happens to Ian, which we'll talk about in a second. He's cool. He helps bring them out.
And they settle on this pretty awesome view, and they name it Fraser's Ridge.
Fraser's Ridge just looks magnificent.
Jamie's like, I'll take this cool shit.
Yeah, I'll take this.
But
somebody already lives here.
People already live here.
The Cherokee Indians. And Jamie, I think, went around with stakes, kind of claiming the land, and they come back and they throw them in the ground and be like, yo, we was here first.
I know. And he's just like, oh, this is my shit. This is my shit. And they're just like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, whoa. Yeah, so they have an interesting little arc between themselves.
Yeah, and it's cool too because young Ian starts becoming one of my favorites this season. It's like one of my favorite characters from the whole show.
Yeah,
just because he's such a likable guy. He's so loyal to his uncle and his aunt, Jamie and Claire. He's nice to both of them. Like a lot of people when Claire first came back, they were pretty upset with her. He's always been just so supportive and like, auntie, and right. So I really love him, and I like that he's getting the dog and
right.
He's just becoming one of my favorites during this. They're building a cabin. They're dealing with the Native Americans, trying to make that work. But eventually, there's this disruption that starts happening. There starts to be some like weird bear claw kills and things like that. And it's a pretty cool episode with this spirit bear, and you're kind of thinking like, is there going to be a fight between Jamie and the Cherokee here? Pretty cool fight. It turns out it wasn't a real bear. It was a man bear pig.
Right. Man bear pig.
man bear pig.
And Jamie becomes the bear killer.
Yeah.
I think they even like that's his name to them is the bear killer.
He gets a sweet fucking name. Because he just killed like a crazy guy in a bear costume.
So we all know the real bear killer is Bjorn Ironside.
Bjorn Ironside, who got punched by a grizzly.
He killed a bear. Okay.
Bear hands.
I see what you did there. With his bare hands.
Bare hands.
He's got like furry, clawy hands.
Rawr, that's how he did it.
He did it because he can turn his hands into bear hands.
Only bear hands can penetrate a bear's hide.
But so he kind of killed a bear.
He's kind of killed a bear. Spirit bear. Oh, it wasn't. So I saw it in one of the after episode talks that they do on the show. The writers will talk about, if you ever watched it, the show on Stars. I don't know, it might be on Netflix too. They might have this part of it, but they'll talk about the episode afterwards. The writers, some of the writers, directors, people who run the show, and they talk about that from the books. Apparently, if you read the books, you already know this. You're like, yeah, see, we already fucking know. But there was a real bear that Jamie killed in the books, but just for the purpose of, renting out a bear and having Sam Hewitt fight something. They're like, maybe we shouldn't use a real bear. But it would have been so much cooler if he killed a real bear other than the bear guy, because the bear guy was like kind of beating him up too. I was like, Jamie's like the badass. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's just got like knife hands and, but I mean, he took him by surprise and it was nighttime and stuff, but yeah. And he did kill him. And he got respect.
He's the bear killer.
It was that was a pretty sweet episode though. Pretty sweet scene. And then he gets respect from them because of that. And then they pretty much set up a sort of a, like a truce. Like, yeah, you can have that land, but we get this shit. We can do whatever we want on your land still.
Yeah, they bring like the chief to come to meet him, and then like Claire befriends one of the women. I don't know if
I think it's one of the older women.
One of the older women Claire befriends, and they communicate in their own way, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Another Fraser Ridge adventure is then later down the line. That family ends up actually getting killed by this German guy who thinks that the Cherokee, when they drank out of his river, put a curse on his family after his child's birth and died. But Claire was like, nah, it's probably something genetic, or it was a disease or something. I forget what happened, and that's why the mother and they died, and you just must be immune, from it, or maybe you're a carrier, whatever it is. He ends up then killing and scalping those people, and it's a really cool, tense moment. And it was one of my favorite like Claire episodes that we've had from the whole show, just because like she's on her own, like trying to live out in the wild, and she's managing without Jamie. Jamie went into town at this point. She's like dealing with this guy who's just off his freaking rocker when he comes into her house. Crazy. And eventually he gets killed by the Cherokee too. I thought really cool.
Got the gun pointed at him, and that was intense.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was going nuts, and she had been helping that family before too.
Yeah, Yeah, they were like exchanging medicine, and
I think she had broken up a dispute that he had when he saw the Cherokee Indians taking the water out of his creek, and
all they did was just stop to get water.
Yeah, but he's like, that's my creek.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you can't own water, dude. You can't own water.
There's water right here.
Right. It's like, water's free in America, man.
It's free.
Can't make me pay for it if I want some water. No.
The other big adventure, besides the ones that happen with other characters at Fraser's Ridge, is when John Gray, Lord Gray, who just
Yes.
shows up wherever the hell Jamie is. He could be in Jamaica, he could be in North Carolina, he could be
Just
in
following him around.
he could be in Britain. That's
Doesn't matter.
John Gray is going to end up there at some point.
Don't matter. But this time he brings a very, very special someone, Jamie's son. Jamie's, remember, son William, who William does not know Jamie's his dad. The only time he knew Jamie was when he was very young, and he knew Jamie as Mac, this guy who worked for his parents.
Mm-hmm. And that's when Jamie realized he had to leave because he had this kid with one of their daughters, and she was already married, and so there was this whole thing. And
because he looked like Jamie, and people were going to put two and two together pretty soon.
This kid did not look like Jamie anymore. I have to say, not to insult kids, but I mean, the kid was cute in that first season he was in. This kid, I don't know if it's just the hair or in the attitude put together or what, but he looks like a little brat now. He looks like a little.
He was kind of a brat when we meet him, and it was a little, but I think that's part of it too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Jamie had to kind of like reel that in real quick, Yeah. You're not gonna pull that with me.
This was a touching episode.
It's a great episode.
It wasn't
in a couple different
touching.
ways.
Yeah. And it wasn't as touching as though the scene where he has to ride away. That was
don't even get me started.
That was such a surprising.
Why would you even bring it up?
Amazing moment. I know.
Oh man. Oh. But this time, John leaves William somewhere up in a tree or something, and stay here. But he warns Jamie before they go. He's like, by the way, William's here just so you can prep. Get your mind right, boy. Just get your mind right.
Get your mindset, boy.
And they're gonna leave, but then John gets sick with smallpox, I think. Claire's immune, so
and Jamie already had it when he was a kid.
Jamie already had it, but William could still get it, and William, he could die. So they're like, Jamie, take William away on a little vacation.
Side quest.
Little side quest. And they do that. And that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, he starts teaching him how to hunt and how to go through the woods and stuff again. He tries to bond with his son. His son, at first doesn't seem like he remembers Jamie at all. And but then he makes it pretty clear. He's like, why'd you just leave me, Mac? That he does.
Yep.
And he was just he didn't want to acknowledge it, I guess. He just weird emotions, being a kid and stuff. And then he actually ends up then the Cherokee again, that the same group of guys that we keep seeing show up, and they threatened to kill the kid, and
because he went fishing while Jamie was sleeping, I think.
Yeah, he's like, no, that's theirs. That's theirs. Yeah. No, we have agreement here. You can't use that. That's their shit.
They demand blood for blood. And that's when Jamie says, his blood is my blood.
She's like, you just take mine.
Yeah.
And then the kid ends up standing up for him, and he says, no, he's not, and take me. And so then they admire their bravery, and they let him go.
Well, they give him a little nick.
Yeah, little Nick. He's like, all right,
I gotta take something back.
Got to take a little blood. The rule says a little blood.
Look, I already pulled you over.
I got to give you something.
I got to give you something. So I'm just gonna give you a fix it, Nick.
No points on your license.
Just show up on this court date.
Just show up, and you're good. Just a little blood.
Just a little bit. So they do that, and they get back. John's feeling much better. He's no longer contagious. But meanwhile, John and Claire have their own moment together because they both love Jamie.
Who doesn't in this show?
Right? I know. They both love Jamie.
Man and woman all want to get with Jamie.
While John's sort of in his fading in and out, he's really sick. He starts opening up about his feelings for Jamie. And even says that Jamie offered himself to me.
And he tries to rub it in her face too. He's like, well, he said he would have sucked my dick.
He's like, I could have taken him up on it.
And she's like, well, why was that his first offer? He didn't say I will clean your shoes for a month. or anything like that.
Yeah,
It was
now
like
she's starting to
it's
like
straight
wonder.
to like touching your wiener. That's what I thought when Jamie did that. I was like offer something else first, and then like if it gets to that, you go there.
Right.
But start out with like, iron your clothes. I'll pet your horses. Start out there.
Right. They actually reconcile though, because they're both really good people. John is like
John's a
a
great dude.
really stand up dude. Really stand up dude. And they get back, they get better, and they leave. While they're leaving, William's like turning back, looking at Jamie.
So I'm sure we'll probably see him again at some point. Maybe.
Yep.
I don't
I
know.
would be shocked if we didn't.
So taking it a step back from Fraser's Ridge antics here now, let's go back to some other characters. So if you remember, after Claire left in season 3, Brianna, her daughter, Jamie and her's daughter, back when Jamie knocked her up before she left from the Battle of Culloden in season 2, she had this daughter in present day, was raised by Frank Randall in not present day in the in 1940s and now it's 1967 in this time period, and she's grown up. She's a young woman. After Claire left to go be with Jamie, then she has stayed, and now she and Roger are going steady, liking each other.
They're gonna go to a little festival together.
They go to a festival.
He flies to the U.S. and you can tell they're both like equally happy to be with each other at this point.
Yes. It's a Scottish festival where they like burn this deer and do all sorts of clan stuff.
But I don't think they've spent like an awful amount of time together. Like, I think they've spent time together, but not like, I mean, he's been in Scotland, she's been in the US.
Yeah.
So anyway,
they've hung out and like kissed sometimes.
Yeah, they go to a Scottish festival in North Carolina, which is kind of cool because simultaneously we're like watching Jamie and Claire in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. They seem romantic. They seem into each other, and he even plays this like song at the Scottish festival.
Now, if you didn't have to mop up the floor after Roger sang this song, I mean, like, are you even human? You know what I mean? Like everyone in that bar was just, I mean, Little John is dripping. It's soaking wet.
Jesus Christ.
Shaking like a salt shaker. I mean, everyone.
Oh God.
Everyone was enthralled
by
his performance.
That's right.
Of the song.
And especially Brianna. And they go back to their little cabin.
Yeah.
The thing, and they start like getting into it, and she's into it, and
brown
he's into it.
Cow.
But he's a good Christian boy. No, what is he?
Oh my God. This scene drives me crazy.
This scene drives me nuts. So remember, I don't think he spent a ton of time with her. And he just gets down and proposes before they do it.
Like, hey, we've been talking, we've kissed, let's have sex.
Yeah, let's
can we just do that first?
Can we just give it a little bit more time?
Like, as soon as it's about to happen, like, what man would do this?
I know. I'm like, dude.
Like what? Like what?
And then he this surprised me about his character, but he just totally now I get it hurt probably because it's something he really wanted and he got rejected.
Yeah.
But he just flips.
He's like a real dick to her. He's like,
I know, and I was like,
you just want to fuck me, and she's just like, like it, but it means something though. Like it still means something. And she's like, have you had sex before? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, I haven't. Like I'd just be having sex with you. He's like, well, you're a slut. Just like, oh, he doesn't say that, but I mean, but it's still like
aggressive.
She's a virgin. He's not. So like, it's still like, again, so it just makes no sense. Like why he's holding this over her. Like So you just want to
Yeah.
fuck me, you know? It's like you've apparently not married everyone you fucked, you know? Like like why are
Seriously.
you throwing this at her? Like
So
she's
yeah,
like
and
some
this, in
whore.
this instance, I don't like blame Brianna at all.
No, no,
Like this is like she's just like, whoa, no, like
I am completely on Brianna's side
I'm
in
on
this.
Brianna's side on this side. This time she's like, she's respectful about it too. She's not like, she's just like, wow, it's just too like, just not ready
Marriage?
for that. She's like,
Can
I'm
we
just not
just
ready for
know
that.
each other first? Can we
Yeah.
see if we like fucking each other?
Yeah. Yeah. He overreacts, in my opinion.
So
Now, I
they
get it. It's something you really want. You get rejected. You're going to have emotions. But it just seemed like,
you don't like Roger. Now
I
that's
don't,
one thing. I've generally liked Roger, other than these moments where I'm just like, what the hell are you doing, dude?
I never had a problem with him before this. But this is the first instance that I was like, what the heck? This,
Yeah.
like, it didn't even really fit into his character,
No.
you know?
No.
But we come to find that Brianna and him are both very hard-headed people,
Yes.
and it becomes frustrating, their relationship sometimes. I don't think all of it happens in season 4, but this is like the first time I was just like, I didn't like that, Roger. I did
Yeah.
not like what you just did there, and you like being really mean to her now.
And like she
Then
even
he just,
stays. Like if I was her after that, I would have. I don't know. I guess I would have tried to talk again, and be like, hey, like, can we slow down? Can we talk? Can we try and figure out what's going on, what we
yeah, let
want?
some time, let him cool down, and then maybe he'll be thinking more clearly. But
So at the festival, like she shows up for his clan, ceremony thing where they call it the clans. He's gonna represent the Mackenzie clan. She shows up there and then she's like, hey, like I'm here to support you. And he's like, you gonna marry me? And she's like,
yeah,
no.
this
And he's like, so what good are you to me then, essentially?
exactly, yeah.
And so
And I was
she
just
like
what?
then she leaves. And it's like
I was totally expecting his character to like come back and be like, listen, I don't know what got into me the other night,
yeah.
but no, he like, she goes, and I think that's what she expects too. And he's just like, yeah, what are you still doing here if you're not going to marry me? It's just like, dude.
What the hell? What the
So this
hell?
is where I like start like, I don't know if I like Roger here.
Yeah, I do not like him. I'm 100% with Brianna here. I'm just like, what
So
the hell?
yeah,
Like we're having this moment of like, it wasn't just like I want to just have sex. I want to just have sex, pointless sex. This is someone she likes, and like they've been around each other a lot, developed from like a friendship into this, you know. And like he's just like,
yeah.
nope, marriage or nothing, like, what?
So anyway, they go their separate ways.
Yeah, she finds out, or she remembers Fraser's Ridge is going to be burnt down and the people inside die. And there's a smudge on the paper, so you just see it's 17 something. So you don't know what year, or maybe you maybe even might see 17/6.
Yeah, we
something.
find out later in the season too that Frank actually had this knowledge.
Yeah, and I don't.
He had the clip, and he decided not to tell her.
Yeah, I think that might even be something not from the books too, because again, it shows that like he knew she was going to go back into the past then, right? Mm-hmm. Or I guess he could have probably assumed that.
Right.
If it's Fraser, I don't think it specifically says Claire and Jamie Fraser are burned to death there. But it says Fraser's, or the Fraser household burned down. People are dead inside.
It might have, though. I think it might have said.
But like, so he saw that.
It was an obituary.
Yeah.
It was an obituary.
So anyway, though, she decides then to go back into the past. Also, too, Roger had found this out. So then when he tries to call and let her know about this.
He doesn't say the part about them dying, but he says, good news, your mom found Jamie. And that's all he says to her.
Yeah. And then she ends up going to Scotland, going to the Stones, going to the past. And when he finds out she's gone, he goes to the same town. He finds out there was a letter there for him, but it wasn't supposed to be given to him till like a while later or something. But the woman thankfully gives it to him then.
Yeah.
So he sees that she's gone back to the past. She's going to go help her mom. So he decides to end up going back into the past as well and chases after her.
Which was Dum 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 dum.
Dum 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 dum. Shows.
Listen. Roger is not made to live in the 18th
1700s.
century,
Yeah.
1700s. There's just, and you're about, you find that out real quick. Anyway,
I mean,
but
I don't know how well
yeah.
I'd do either. For the
No,
record,
true.
I
Claire
don't
did
know.
pretty well.
Yeah, Claire did
Claire
well.
did pretty well.
Claire managed.
She was hot. Roger's not hot. No. So anyway, sorry. But Brianna got back first, and we see that she makes it back. She actually, the first place I think she goes to is Leary's.
She ends up like rolling her ankle, like just wandering through the highlands too. Like, and that was something too that made me think, like, you roll your ankle, like in the middle of nowhere, you are fucked. You're fucked. Like, you can't call anyone. Like, you can't like run into a road and be like, hey, I've sprained my anterior talofibular ligament. Like, I can't put weight on my foot now. Like you're fucked. Yeah, that's just what happens.
It's another reason I might not do the Stones.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier. But what are the chances that it's Leary that she finds? Right?
Astronomically low. I mean,
I guess not astronomically low, because it is the same area that right? It's the same area that she had.
That's where, the Stones took Claire in the first place, and that's where Leary's from.
So I guess she's in the same part of the world, and chances
astronomically
are,
low.
Still crazy,
but still,
and
the odds.
Leary and her daughters are like, her daughter,
and she's daughters too.
She still has two daughters there.
Yes, because the older one,
she has three daughters.
Yeah, Marcy is with Fergus.
Marcy is with Fergus. Yeah,
and
she's pregnant. By the way, we forgot to mention that
they're pregnant. They end up actually having a kid by the end of the season.
Yeah, they do, but they're actually being nice to Brianna
because they don't know who she is.
They don't know who she is, and Brianna not knowing who Leary is.
And if you remember who Leary is, for quick recap, she is Jamie's ex-stalker, who has just been obsessed, tried to kill Claire at a witch trial. She's
then married Jamie, I think.
Married Jamie when he was down on his luck and alone, and then shot him while she was trying to kill Claire. So this is one crazy bitch.
She's crazy. Brianna, not knowing who she is like, I'm looking for my mom, Claire Dunphy. Claire. I remember her last name. They all could come to me as Dunphy. Looking for mom, Claire. And Leary like locks her up.
She locks her in a room. She's like, I'm gonna accuse you of being a witch too. Like you just see like the actress who plays Leary is just so good at her. And she's good at what she does. She's, you hate Leary when Leary turns on into crazy bitch, but like
the actress is great.
She's being a sweet lady, and like you almost seem kind of empathetic.
Working hard.
Like, I'm on my own. My deadbeat ex isn't paying his child support after I shot him.
But anyway,
because he went to Jamaica and then the Rubies, and then they ended up.
He went to Jamaica with his new wife. He's not paying child support. He's in Jamaica.
He's in Jamaica with his new wife. Can you believe this cheating son of a bitch?
When it sounds like that, I mean.
But so you kind of like Leary, and then as soon as she hits it, she switches, and you're like, oh, that's right, she's that crazy, heartless, psycho obsessed bitch.
Yeah.
Claire gets away and actually runs into
Brianna. Brianna gets away.
I'm sorry, yes. I'm just like, yeah, it's got to be Claire. Brianna gets away, and she actually ends up running into old Ian, and then he ends up getting her a boat then to go to America. And he's just like, oh, of course you're Claire's daughter. Of course you are. Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. I like him.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to think, just like, of course you're like Claire and Jamie's daughter that we've never seen, because like we don't have Facebook and we don't have
Right.
You
But you
know,
look like them.
cell phones. You look like
But you
them.
look just like Jamie, and like
People have sex and make kids back then. It's what they try and do all the fucking time.
so. Anyway, she goes, and who does she meet? And she's got like a companion now,
Yes, I think it's Lizzie.
Lizzie, I think.
Has some sort of weird, very weird scenario where it's like either you buy her or she's getting sold as a prostitute, you know, and it's just like, sure, I'll take her and she can be my handmaiden. Like, yeah, I don't want that to happen. But now Lizzie is this real quiet, meek girl who's gonna follow her and take care of her.
Yeah, but they have a nice trip to the US, and Roger's not far behind her.
Yes.
So Roger,
He gets passage from Scotland to America by via Stephen Bonnet, the old crazy butthole.
Now, what are the chances of that? That's astronomically low.
That's gotta be astronomically low.
And he like does this stuff on the boat where Bonnet, like, I think smallpox is going on the boat, and Bonnet's like, throw him overboard.
Yeah. He's like, let's get rid of it.
Roger's like, no, I can't do that. Stephen Bonnet's like, what? He's got smallpox, dude.
Do you all want to die?
You just
we
want
don't
to die?
We haven't been vaccinated like you dummy. So I don't know. Like, again, Stephen Bonnet, he's being a dick about what he's doing, but at the same time, like,
totally.
But at the same time, it's just like,
he's not dumb.
What are you gonna do back then? There's a smallpox outbreak going on in your ship. It is tight quarters, and you've still got a while to go. Are we all gonna die? I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is.
It's probably not the right thing to do.
Maybe quarantine them outside at the top. You know, maybe at the poop deck. You know,
yeah, definitely on the poop deck.
Probably in the poop deck would probably be the best place to keep him. He sees Stephen Bonnet as a crazy butthole, and he says, "You like, you have to work as part of my crew, and then we'll get you there for free." And so he gets there. Roger ends up running into Claire in town in old North Carolina, and he ends up pulling her out of the bar, and like, because he's worked up, he's just like, "You just left. You just went 100 years into the past or 200 years in the past, and all you did, like, you wrote me a letter that like I might have never got to until like I was in like 20 years later." And so he's upset when he pulls her out, but all Lizzie sees when she comes out is Roger like sort of manhandling her. Yeah,
being forceful with her. Yeah. So
then he pulls her away.
Very important. Keep that in mind, that Lizzie sees that.
Yes. They go off though, and they end up talking, and they end up getting handfast. That ends up quenching Roger's lustful desire for marriage, and it allows Brianna to just get some goddamn dick. You know, what does a girl got to do around here?
This joke
just got to get handfasted.
This joke is not going to age well. I'm just gonna tell you that it's not gonna age well.
She's a progressive woman. She wants to have intercourse.
It's not gonna age well.
Neither will I.
Yeah, so they get handfast and they have it. They do the deed.
The old horizontal tango.
Do the horizontal tango, right?
Yes. And then Brianna brings up why she came back with the fire and stuff, and Roger basically lets slip that he knew. And she's like, whoa, you didn't tell me this shit? Well, they're fighting, and she tells him to leave. And he's like, you just want me to leave? Like, you don't care if I'm here or not? She's like, yeah, I don't. I just want you to go. I don't care at all.
They're both so hot-headed right now, too. Like,
yeah.
And so it was more arguing that felt frustrating. I mean, I get why she's mad. I get it. But it's just at the same time, it's like, it'd be on the same side.
Yeah, it just seems a little dramatic to me. And I think when I saw the after talk too, the writers were even like Roger's a good guy. Like, what do we have to do to like make sure he's like he actually leaves? Because like, why would he just leave, you know, after a fight? So again, I don't know if they're from the books, he just leaves, or what happens in the books, if it's different scene, but that's why they make it like you just want me to leave. You don't care if I leave. And she's like, yes, I just want to leave. Like, that's why they like make her say that essentially. Now she's on her own. She goes back to the bar inn that she's staying at. And lo and behold, Stephen Bonnet, who brought, you know, Roger in on his ship, he's in there and he's twirling around Claire's ring from Jamie,
Yep.
the old silver ring that he got her.
Which
Back in the
Brianna
day.
had seen because Claire brought it back to the future. So she knows what ring that is.
She knows. And so she comments on it, and this draws attention from Stephen Bonnet. Stephen Bonnet's like, hey, like you're like the second prettiest woman who's like in the world right now. Because like you're from the 1900s.
You gotta be. You gotta be from the 1900s.
And it just is gruesome. And again, like I like season 3 because there wasn't any rape in it. And again, like here we go. Season 4
she goes and offers to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then she did not mean with her body. She did not mean with her body.
No.
So, and then he rapes her. It's brutal. It is so freaking brutal.
You don't even see anything in this scene other than like he takes her back there and
he like drags her by her feet.
Yeah, it's just, that's all you see. My God.
But you hear her scream. And what pisses me off even more is that all the dudes sitting out there listening to it happen, everyone's just listening to it happen. Nobody does anything.
I know.
They just let it happen. This girl is just like screaming for help. And they're all guilty, you know, every single one of them.
Yeah, that made me mad. That made me just want to go John Wick in that bar. Just I was just like what the hell? You know, I'd like to think I know I would do something in that situation. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it's just like again though, like in real life, like it makes you think like shit, like does this like happen? You know, do people do this? Like I don't mean rape, but I mean like, you know, I don't know. It's a hard freaking scene. It's just like the way he just drags her in there and then the doors are shaking.
It wouldn't be Outlander if we didn't have at least one in a season.
I would have been fine with that.
I would have been fine without it, but there's always seemed like they got to make you as uncomfortable as possible at one point or another. I feel like
they're just like it seems like they just want to make sure whatever bad guy they have to make him do some sort of sexual violence. So you just hate him over the top then.
Right.
And so that happens. And then, you know, she comes back the next day covered in blood and just a wreck. Her Leslie or whatever, you know, sees this, takes care of her, just has her sleep. And she thinks because, you know, the last person she saw her with was with Roger, who took her and who's roughing her up. So she's like, that's who did this to you. That's what she has in her head. Eventually, Brianna is leaving though, and she ends up hearing that there was this woman who did a surgery or something the night before. Right. And we remember that was actually a scene where Claire was pretty cool. Gets I think it was she fixes a hernia that had become septic or something in this man at this play. And at the same time too, Jamie was being like a double agent for the regulators because of another character who we're going to talk about here. But she runs into Jamie then after this. Brianna finds out, you know, hears about this, and she runs into her dad. Oh, Jamie Fraser, as he's taking a leak, as people seem to find Jamie, you know, sometimes.
He's seen pictures of her, you know, so he knows what she looks like, and pretty awesome moment.
It was an awesome moment. This was a great moment. Because like the whole time you're just waiting for her to run into them again. And just some terrible shit just happens to her. And it's just like, all right, like now you're safe too, because like you've got Jamie here, you know, with you. And just great because he's never met her. And this is a guy who's like always wanted a kid of his own to raise. And now here she is. And it's funny too. At first he thinks like she's trying to like elicit sex or something to him. He's just like, leave me alone. I'm married. Right. He's like he doesn't even like care. He's just like
he's just so used to women coming up to him and being like,
he's just so
he's just like it's a reaction to him.
Whatever. I don't care how pretty you are. Whatever. And then they have a great moment, great scene, the two of them. And then they run into Claire, and they take her back to Fraser's Ridge. Yeah. It was just really great to see that reuniting and coming back. It was probably one of my favorite moments from the season, I'd say.
Yeah, that was pretty great. And then Roger kind of comes to his senses and thinks, you know what? Maybe I will go back to meet up with her.
Yeah, go back to
and
Brianna.
see if we can reconcile things. I don't like where we ended it here. I'm already here. I'm already in the past.
I'm already in the past.
So he rides up to Fraser's Ridge.
Well, first, what he does is he goes back and he runs into Stephen Bonnet, who is like, you aren't done working for me. You're done after this amount of time. That's what we agreed. Mm-hmm. So he has to work with him. And at the end of that voyage, he ends up getting 2 gems, which he needs to then go back to the stones. And like Stephen Bonnet's like, those are worthless. Yeah, go ahead and take those.
Yeah.
So he gets those. And then, like you said, he rides up to Fraser's Ridge then with the idea of getting her back and taking her through the stones with these gems.
Right. But Lizzie sees who's riding up on the horse. And by this time, Brianna's already told her mom about being raped. And I don't know if we already find out that Brianna's pregnant. I can't remember.
Yeah, at some point we do find out, though, Brianna's pregnant. And it could be.
And we don't know.
From either one because it happened in the same friggin' night. But it seems like from the way she told it, it seems more likely that it was probably Stephen Bonnet from the method of or the limitations or the lack of birth control used in different situations, we'll say.
Right. Lizzie, I think, tells Ian.
Yeah, she tells Ian. Ian makes her come and tell Jamie what happens. And
he's like, are you sure it's him?
And so Jamie doesn't know that Stephen Bonnet raped her because he was the one who's technically responsible for letting Stephen Bonnet go, and that they already got robbed by him. And so Claire, who was told by Brianna that it was Stephen Bonnet who raped her, she's like, I'm not going to put the name of Stephen Bonnet on Jamie. It'll just tear him apart. I'm just going to tell him she was raped by someone. And so now Jamie, who's the best dad ever, right?
Yeah.
Is just like, oh, you're telling me this motherfucker who raped my daughter is just rolling up on my house right now?
And he even does like, when you exit out of something, like, are you sure you want to exit? You want to save your work first?
Yeah.
It's like, or are you sure you want to proceed? Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're sure it's him? This is the guy you saw? I'm 100% sure. Like, he's just like, all right. And
I love this scene.
I could watch this over and over again. Like Roger hops off his horse. He's like, hey. And Jamie just marches right up. Just haymaker. Just
beats him.
Roger's just like, what?
Just beats him to like 80%, like no health,
I know. Yeah, like
and like I just love just Jamie's face and just like his posture. He's just like coming to just kill or kick ass, whatever happens, And like,
I'm surprised he didn't kill him.
I know, like if I'm a dad, that's how I would have rolled up. That's what I'm doing.
He didn't kill him.
He ends up like, hey, let's make sure we never see this guy again.
I guess that's worse than killing him. What he did.
Yeah,
in a way,
if
he
sells him as a slave to
the Native Americans, to the Mohawk. So that's where we talked earlier. He gets marched all the way up to Mohawk territory
from North Carolina to New York. Damn.
So that's a long walk. And I'm just thinking this dude should never have left his time.
He was a great professor.
He was a great professor.
Great professor.
He's having a bad time. He's having a real bad time back here in the 1760s.
1760s. So, that's just one of my favorite scenes. Not because it's Jamie beating up Roger. It's just that, like you said, Roger is just like, hi there, sir. I'm here for your daughter. And before he gets a word out, Jamie's already like, this guy raped my daughter. He is dead. This man is eating my knuckles. Like, how else would you react? You know what I mean? The guy who raped your daughter is coming. He's found where you live and is coming back for for probably to do it again. Not a, as a man who survived probably the worst sexual assault in the
Oh
show.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So
hell no.
like how did I can try to remember how Brianna figures out that.
Well, he just goes home and they're just like, oh, why are your knuckles bloody? He's like, tree.
Yeah.
Something. He's like, frontier stuff. And
Yeah.
and yeah, eventually she ends up saying who raped her. It was Stephen Bonnet. And he's like, well, who the hell did I beat up? and then Leslie's like, oh, it's the man who grabbed you out of the tavern that day.
Yeah,
that's
like, when she realizes.
Shit, that was Roger. She's like, what'd you do with him? And he's like, I beat him to like 20% health left and sold him as a slave. And
and things get real heated between them now too. Man. Like,
well, first she like blows up on him, like you're so stupid. Why'd you do that? And he's just like, hey, like what I said, like this was the guy I thought raped you and was rolling up on our house where you are right now. Like I beat him nearly to death and sold him as a slave. Like that's what a good dad does,
Yeah. But he says something to her that is just so like she just cannot get over.
Well, yeah. Well, she's like, then he gets confused because she says she had sex with Roger and with Stephen Bonnet. Right. And he thinks he's trying to put in his head, like, what? Like you like so you're telling me you and again, he's thinking still Roger is the one who raped her from this whole thing. So he's like, oh, you willingly had sex with Roger. And then you accused him of rape, or he's getting mixed up who raped who and who was consensual. And so he's like, he calls her, he pretty much calls her like a slut or something like that for doing this.
And then says, and then you had to accuse him of being a rapist.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And so she blows up on him for that. But again, he's confused who did what and who's who.
She can't get over it.
Yeah.
For the longest time.
And again, this is a man from the 1700s who was raised Catholic in Scotland, right? So I mean, the guy has a certain point of view, he's mostly progressive,
Yeah.
But I mean, again, he's mixed up with who's who. He doesn't understand if Roger was the consensual one, if Stephen Bonnet was the consensual one, who was the one who was raped. Are you
already heated?
I'm very frustrated with Brianna in this instance. Again, she's been raped, and the guy she loves is now beaten and sold as a slave for like weeks ago at this point, been marching north to New York. So again, she has a right to be upset. But this is again one of the moments where I said in the beginning of our talk, I was just like, I'm a little frustrated with this. You know what I mean? A little frustrated how people are acting here.
Yep. So
because like he did the right thing for what he thought was going on. And then when Leslie was like, I'm sorry, this is all my fault. She's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong.
Lizzie, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, no, you're fine. No. And it's just like
and at the
she's
same
the one
time,
who figured him. She's the one who said that's the guy who raped him.
Yeah. Or the other thing is like they could have been totally transparent with Jamie about who did rape her.
Exactly.
Like they lied to him too.
Yeah. No one said, hey,
they just withheld information from him.
No one was like, well, Claire, why didn't you tell Jamie it was Stephen Bonnet? Because we know what that guy looks like.
Listen, everybody's got some things that they're guilty of in this situation.
Exactly. But only Jamie's one getting one blamed.
So it was frustrating. It
could have been handled better, but Jamie's the only one getting blamed for this.
But he feels he has to fix it now, right?
Yeah.
Him, Ian, and Claire, they're going to go up and they're going to get him back. They got to fix this situation.
And it's going to be a while of a trip. So she'll probably already have the baby by the time she's gone. So they send her to Anticosta.
To River Run. And I think John Gray is there too.
So what ends up happening is she's sent there with a note saying she's pregnant to be taken care of. And Anticosta is just like, great. Granddaughter, let's have some suitors over. Let's get her married so she doesn't have a bastard.
She like begs John Gray, like, will you marry me? So
so I don't marry Pippin.
Whatever. Oh yeah, Pippin's there.
Marry her Pippin. So she ends up seeing that John Gray was just pounding this other dude in the hallway.
Like, you guys couldn't be more discreet.
there's not a room you could go to, like just in the hallway. So she like even tries to use that as a threat against him, and he's like you won't say anything, you know. You won't do it. You won't. And but eventually he decides to, at least he says he's going to marry her, so that Aunt Jocasta stops trying to get guys to marry her and stuff. And but it's just funny how like Aunt Jocasta's like, let's just get you married, and just like doesn't even like tell her, like ask her, you know, if that's what she wants. She's just like, let's bring a bunch of dudes over and have this weird dinner.
It's so funny. So Claire, young Ian, and Jamie are on their way to rescue Roger.
Yeah, and that's when they see.
And I think there was a moment where Roger had escaped on the way.
Yeah, so
found the circle.
Roger's not having a fun trip. He is he's not having a great walk. And actually, when I first saw the show's new opening, the intro for this season, and I saw it was Roger being marched by the Mohawk, and all I saw was a guy was tied up behind some horses walking. I was like, if Jamie gets captured again, and like, I was like, I cannot stand this shit if Jamie gets captured again. But it was Roger. So Roger's the one on this stuff. Beautiful views, by the way, that they use. Great
views.
Beautiful
so
views.
Then they're like, you're gonna love this.
You're gonna love this. It's a great
now
hike.
If you look to the left.
If you look to the left, it's just another. That's actually one of our rivers. There you go. So, but yeah, like you said, he has like a couple buddies that he meets there, and on his trip, one of them dies. So Roger's actually
over common interests and
Roger's
the common interest of being owned by Native Americans. He escapes though at one point.
Yeah, he escapes at one point. He gets away. They like go past this hill. It was pretty cool too how they did, because it just felt like natural. I was like, it doesn't seem like it was a stupid mistake, or it just seemed like something that could happen.
Yeah,
like he's like hung over the side of this hill, and he just like sort of slips out of his cuffs, and he just goes for it, and he comes across some stones.
He starts hearing the buzzing.
And he could go back. Then he's still got the two gems from Stephen Bonnet that he was going to bring to Brianna. So he could go through. The episode ends with him about to touch it. It looks like
black screen.
And the next episode starts with him in the shower. And I was like, oh shit, he went back. Yeah. I was like, ballsy. All right, good.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though that shower after just months of, again, you know, I don't, how long was he in the past? I don't know, but like, especially after,
it feels so good.
Yeah, just after just being in the past where there's no shower, a shower would feel good.
I just feel good. I took a shower today after my long day. It felt so good.
Yeah.
And
now imagine after a forced hike from North Carolina to New York, where you're underfed and underwater.
And not to mention, and you've gone on like a sea voyage, and
you've been
with people with smallpox.
Scottish man. That's the other thing too. Like he just got beaten by Jamie before this. That shower feels so good, and I felt so bad when they just cut, and he decided not to go through because he wants to be there for Brianna, and they capture him and they take him to the camp.
Yeah. So they have a slight delay to their trip. Their ETA is bumped.
Like when your time, like if you miss a turn, like you see like the 5 minutes pop up, like
Yeah, it's like, and you're driving to something strapped to your roof and it falls off on the side of the road, and you have to stop and go get it.
But while you're like and they look down, and it says, like originally it said 6 weeks, and now it's like 7. It's like
let's do it now before it gets worse. It's like with a sundial or something, like some kind of. So they finally make it to like the village they live in, and
he doesn't know what's going on, but they give him a chance to basically become Mohawk and not get prisoner treatment. They have this crazy gauntlet, from
Gauntlets.
the Punisher.
It's awesome. We had a drill in hockey called the Gauntlet. It was so much fun.
And he just goes through this aisle of people who just wail on him, and he has to try and get to the end and tap the chief. That's the goal. No one explains the rules, but that's the goal.
Yeah, he doesn't do too well his first round. He doesn't have any beginner's luck.
No.
No, he just gets annihilated, and then he gets thrown in the little jail cell, and his buddies there. I think they tried digging out at one point.
More friends at camp.
More friends at camp.
It's a priest, and he's there because he ended up sleeping with this one of the Mohawks women after he was sick or something like that. She took care of him. They did the deed. Now he doesn't feel like he's a qualified minister anymore because of this, and they want him to baptize the offspring of their horizontal tango. And he's like, I can't. I'm not certified anymore. Certified. I'm not certified because I made sexy sex with a woman. I don't got the magic touch anymore.
Right.
And Rogers is like, just put the water on the head and they're not gonna know.
Right.
And he's like, but I would know. And so on principle, he refuses to do it. They cut off his ear, and eventually they just try just cooking him to death. And Roger actually escapes, but he's just like, oh shit. I hear this guy screaming. So he goes back and he throws an oil drum on the fire to put him out of his misery. And then the woman jumps on the fire with
that was crazy.
Minister. That was pretty crazy. And then so they got Roger back as a captive again.
They got him back. So third time's a charm.
Jamie, Claire, Ian find the camp, and they pose as traitors to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
One of the women there sees Claire's necklace that she got off of Otter, like we said, who is from the future. Mm-hmm. She explains the situation with him that I told you earlier. And then they use them. She says, well, if you help us get Roger out, I'll give you this. So they try and help them break Roger out in the middle of the night, which was a pretty sweet scene of escaping and just fighting as they're trying to just make it out. And the whole time I'm thinking, if this was Uhtred, infiltrating some Danes here, he would have made it.
Oh yeah.
He would have got scathed. He would have been out of there. You know what I mean?
He'd been gone.
But they get captured, and the chief has them there in the morning then, and he's like, we keep Dogface, which is what they've named Roger. Yeah. Jamie offers himself as tribute, as he does. Ian actually ends up volunteering instead. He's like, you know what? I speak some of the language. I'm interested in the culture. You've got a family. I'm just me. Let me do this. So they end up taking him. They leave him behind. And I'm just, like I said, I just fell in love with Ian this season. And when he said that, and he was staying, I was like, shit, we're we're losing Ian from the show.
No, I thought that too. Yeah. So then we get to see Ian go through the gauntlet, which was amazing.
Ian killed it.
He killed it.
Great scene.
It was an awesome scene. And they're all excited. They're all excited when it gets to the end too.
Yeah.
It's like a celebration all of a sudden. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. He decks one of the guys, and then he slides under another guy. Yeah. They didn't tell him any instructions either. Let me say that. He didn't march.
He's from that time period. He's used to being expecting people to attack him.
Yeah. He understands gauntlets. He knows.
Yeah. Oh, he's like, it's a gauntlet.
Oh, just a gauntlet. You just gotta touch the chief's foot over there. Okay. All right. Okay. Standard gauntlet.
So the chief's over there. I just gotta get through here.
Do some parkour.
Do a duck here.
That's right. He leapfrogs a guy too.
Knock you out. So Mama's gonna knock you out.
Mama gonna knock you out.
That's an awesome arc for Ian. Didn't expect it. Didn't expect it, and pretty awesome to see how he's grown.
Yeah, you see, and they make him part of the tribe after that.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, that's what Roger could have had. And so
Uh,
that's the end pretty much of that arc. They get Roger. They explain to him that, you know, Brianna is pregnant. And he's like, that's great. And they're like, it could be yours. It could also not be.
And I think Jamie's mad at him for ditching her too.
He's mad, and he's also trying to test and see, you know,
kind of guy is this?
What Roger's gonna do, because he's like,
yeah,
he starts just like, she was raped. Do you still want to be with her? You know, this kid might be Stephen Bonnet's. Do you still want to be with her? Like, he just starts dropping this shit on her, on him.
Mm-hmm.
And Claire's like, give him a freaking minute. Like,
yeah.
The guy's been like through a lot, you know.
Yeah.
One of our huge big things from the season.
Yeah.
An old friend actually helped capture Stephen Bonnet.
Yeah. Way back, like I think the episode or close to the episode where they're in the town and Brianna meets Jamie the first time. Ian had gone in to get something repaired from
a
blacksmith, and this blacksmith has like gray hair and a beard, and I could just immediately tell from the voice who it was.
That you only see his back at first,
and he gives him like a hard time, like, well, you're gonna have to pay a lot because I'm leaving here and
we're closed. And
That's
so
awesome.
he just charges him an outrageous price to make this ring for Jamie. Jamie's trying to make this ring for his wife, a new wedding ring or an engagement ring or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Ian goes and tells Jamie.
Yeah. He's like, this.
And Jamie's like, say what?
How much did you pay?
Like, nuh-uh. So he goes and confronts this blacksmith, and bro freaking moment, baby. Let's go.
Great bro moment.
Bro moment.
Hands down, best bro from the show. Murtaugh.
No doubt. But as cool as the moment was, they embrace. Murtaugh even goes back with them to Fraser's Ridge for a time.
Yeah.
And he's there, by the way, when Lord John Grey is there. Let's just explain a few things that have changed with Murtaugh. Mm-hmm. Murtaugh is not just part, but kind of running the group, or at least has a head position in a group called the Regulators. The Regulators are this group of people who are very resistant to
tax collectors
and
British government.
Yeah, British rule. So
because they're just gouging them with taxes. If they can't even own a farm.
Yeah.
Because they're like, if we own land, it costs us more than living in city here. You know, we would love to farm, but it's just like, it's impossible with all the taxes they put on us then.
Yeah. And this really creates an interesting scenario because technically Jamie is working for Lord Tryon, who specifically told him to watch out for regulators and don't let the regulators, just stop them from doing whatever they're doing.
Your mission is to stop the regulators.
Right. And so Jamie's like in a really tough position here because Jamie also, a lot of things, Jamie's values probably aligns with the regulator values too.
Oh yeah.
But he can't like publicly be helping them.
No.
So anyway.
And when he signed up for this, he was just like, I'll stop a few people who are committing crimes that I don't know. Like, I know, like, whenever the Patriots rise here and independence is declared, I'm just going to switch over. Like, I'm not going to align myself here with them. Like, I know when that's going to happen. I'm going to know what to do. No strings attached. Done. And then Murtaugh has thrown a monkey wrench in that plan because now he cares about the regulators.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are Scottish immigrants too.
This is the rumblings, the first ripples of the American Revolution, like way before the Revolution. But this is like the first sort of small uprisings that are starting to pop up here,
and like started the idea of like, let's rebel, get independence. We don't like this shit. So,
and
I think it's historically true too. I think we looked this up back when we first watched the season. So the regulators were a thing in the United States. Before it was the United States, it was just the colonies.
British
And
colonies, yeah.
and yeah, they had the same complaints about this. I think one of the interesting things too, I think, to make you care about the regulators, it was a smart move narratively for them to use Murtaugh, because in the books, and in the show, when Murtaugh gets sent to the prison with Jamie after the Battle of Culloden, you see at the end they say we're selling people into indentured servitude into the colonies, and that's when you see Murtaugh go away. And in the books, I guess Murtaugh just dies.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, spoiler alert. So that's one change from the books to the show, is they've kept him alive, and now he's this integral part of the regulator plot, as well as, like, he's one of my favorite characters from the whole show, and they've kept him on, and he has so many great moments.
Totally.
Because
so awesome to see him again, not knowing if we were ever going to see him again. I was thinking, because we knew he was going to the colonies, so I was like, he's got to show up sometime.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to see him. And then
I was hoping.
And so when we finally did, I was just like, yes!
It was so good. It was so good.
Like, yes.
It was such a great moment.
That's an awkward moment, though, when John Gray and him are sitting at the same table, and John Gray is talking about how dangerous these regulators are, and they need to be dealt with. And over here is Murtaugh being like, what?
Yeah. And he's just like, where did the funds for that giant castle that the new governor is living in, where did that come from, when you're complaining about all these money shortages? And they're just like, from the state. He's like, where does the money for the state come from? From the taxes that you need? Like, why do you need taxes to build this, this palace for this man? and you got to think back then, it was normal for the government to be like, we want your shit. We want nice shit. We're the aristocracy. We're the rich, powerful people. Poor people, fuck off. For them to even like think like what? Like, what's wrong with us doing this? That wasn't even a thought in their head. Right. But like for Murtaugh, he's like we're freaking trying to just scrape by. And again, too, like you said, there's this whole dynamic of Lord Grey, where he's just like, I was a prisoner in your camp, when you were there. Did you tell your little surrogate son Willie here about that? Did you tell him you sold me as an indentured servant here into the colonies? Did you tell him any of this shit, Mr. Nice, wonderful guy?
Right.
So it's a real tense dinner evening, and I like that Lord Grey got a little flustered there, because he's a good guy, but sometimes, like, I feel like he thinks his shit doesn't stink. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does,
because he is a good guy. So like,
yeah.
So to get that thrown in his face, like, you're still kind of a shitty guy. Like, yeah, you were nice to Jamie.
You did some shitty things.
But like, you fucking sold me as a slave, where I could have just died. Because I died in the books, man. I died in the books.
Bro.
There's this whole regulator plot then. And like we said earlier, Jamie and Claire are at this opera play thing. So they hear from Tryon that there's this trap for the regulators. They're going to try and rob this one stagecoach with what they think is just taxes, but it's just full of men, armed men. Jamie breaks out of there and gets out, and tells them. And so this whole little regulatory plot where Jamie's trying to hide his allegiance, his bounce. And Claire luckily had this distraction with the hernia repair she had.
Right.
Another cool thing we got to see too was my boy, George Washington.
My boy. That's my boy, bro.
Oh God, Washington.
And,
if you've
and
been
my girl,
to
Martha, bro.
Martha
Washington. Yeah, how'd you like that statue? It's a weird statue, isn't it? It's kind of interesting. It's awesome, but it's also a little like.
I walked in, I was like, he was a god.
There's another one, I think, in the Capitol building. If you look in the Capitol building up at the ceiling, there's like one of him sitting on the clouds like that.
Oh damn!
It's like he never. These are things that were made like 100 years after he lived.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he commissioned it.
Mm-mm.
It was just people like.
And I think he saw that like people did revere him so much, because like they even wanted him to stay on as president, and he was just like,
yeah.
Like, if I stay on, I'm going to be a king. Like we just got rid of that shit. I think that's why I think he knew that. And like that's what like why we love him even more is because he's like someone from like how I want my leaders to be in like all the movies we love where the king is so noble and true and just.
Right.
And like I'm sure there's a lot of shitty things he did, but he was a general in the Continental Army where we won our independence. He said all these great things about freedom and a nation and how to rule. And then he was the president, and he was a pretty good president. You know, he didn't do anything too crazy, I don't think, but he was a pretty solid president, and he knew when to step down. So he's just so awesome. So like when I see him ever, like when I saw him in Hamilton, when I see him in this, to me, he is kind of a god. He's not, I don't look at him like that Olympian statue of him.
No.
But that is a sweet statue of him. If I was I'm talking about the statue in DC at the American National History Museum. If you guys want to check that out, it's pretty sick.
It's really crazy. That always stayed with me. I remember when I went and saw it, and I just like it kind of strikes you when you look at it.
That's the first thing I noticed when I walked in. I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is the kind of museum I want to see for American history. Let's see, like, the Greeks told American history here. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the rest of the museum really isn't like that at all.
But George Washington makes a cameo in this, which is pretty awesome.
He gives Jamie a ride home. It was pretty sweet.
It was pretty cool.
I hope we see him again. I hope we get to see him and Jamie.
The actor I thought was like a good actor to play George Washington too. I was like, oh, that might be sort of what he looked like.
Strike me, but he looked kind of like him. He was a tall guy, you know. I hope to see him and Jamie just like fighting some redcoats together or something. That's what I'd love to see. Now Murtaugh is back in the picture. He meets the family. He's coming in and out. When Jamie and them say we're going to New York, Jamie tells Murtaugh and Fergus to their side quest is to get Stephen Bonnet and bring him to Jamie. Jamie wants to kill him.
Right.
So they find Stephen Bonnet, and as they're bringing him out, some redcoats spot him and be like, why do you have this man at gunpoint? And they actually recognize Murtaugh as the regulator from all the posters before they regulate. But then Murtaugh points out that Stephen Bonnet is also a criminal. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. All right, cool. We'll just arrest too. That's even better. Thank you.
Perfect.
So they throw him in jail. And then John Gray tells Brianna that he's in jail. And also, too, before that, Murtaugh did talk with Brianna, and she has forgiven Jamie at this point.
Yeah.
And he's also been hitting on Aunt Jocasta too.
That's right.
They've been bonding over Scotland in the old days. And if you remember, Murtaugh actually liked Jamie's mother. Right. So they're talking about like, oh, you were like flirting with my sister and stuff back in the day. So it's some chemistry there between the two of them going on. Eventually Murtaugh, then he goes there. He gets also put in jail with Stephen Bonnet. And then Brianna goes to go see Stephen Bonnet to like, who's been haunting her, and she's been drawing all these creepy drawings, and she wants to like confront him and sort of like get these demons off her chest. And I have to say, this meeting to me was a little stupid.
Okay.
Again, for her, she's standing up to someone who raped her. Yeah. But then she goes to him and like straight up tells him with certainty now, and she's been saying, I don't know if it's Roger's kid. I don't know if it's Steve Bonnet's kid. She goes, I have your kid. I'm going to have him, and he's never going to know your name. This is your kid, 110%. Your kid. And you're never going to see him again. And Steve Bonnet's like, I have a child.
I know. It's like, why even give him that info?
They end up actually then, because they're there, and Fergus is now working on a plan to break Murtaugh out with the other guys. And it happens to be at the same time Brianna's there. So they blow up the prison to get Murtaugh out. That's what ends up happening. And they just assume, and it appears Stephen Bonnet is dead from this building collapse. And so they get away. Brianna gets away. Jamie and them, they saved Roger already. They're all meeting back. I think it's at Aunt Jocasta's or...
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And they sort of reunite and be like, we don't know what we're gonna do here. Maybe let's get married or something. I think Jamie ends up getting a letter then that he needs to take out the regulators and their leader, Murtaugh Fitzgibbons. And that is the end of season 4.
That's all she wrote. That's all, literally.
That's all. It's all Anna Gabaldon wrote for this book.
For season 4. No, but
drums the bottom, done. Okay.
Yeah, good season. Good season.
What were some of your favorite moments from the whole?
Yeah. When Roger gets sucker punched when he gets beat up. No, it was crazy. The gauntlet scene with Ian was a huge highlight for me. Honestly, as much I like that we have a new bad guy. I hate the things he did in this, but he's a good. The actor is very good at what he does. It's nice to have someone to fear again. Oh, and Murtaugh's coming back. Murtaugh coming back was huge for me.
Oh yeah. Hands down, the whole Murtaugh coming back was awesome. Pretty much anytime Murtaugh was on screen was a pretty solid moment, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's just the actors got him down just fantastic as far as he's got this. He's playing him as an older man too. He seems wiser. Right. He still seems kind of like crotchety, but he's also like pretty witty and harsh and but also like a tender, family oriented guy, when he's around Jamie and them. And I loved like the dinner scene where it's Murtaugh is there, Brianna's there, Jamie's there, Claire's there, they're all at Fraser's Ridge. Ian's there, and it's just like here we go. This is like what Jamie has wanted.
Yes.
Always. He's just always wanted his own family. He's built this house. He has land. He's got his father figure / best friend back. His daughter is there. His full-blown daughter. I thought that was a really awesome scene too from the show. Claire's there with him. Their relationship is just fucking solid this season. I really love that moment. I loved that. Like I said, I love that scene in the bar at the beginning where they just sing. They just break out in song. What else? I love the gauntlet. I love the gauntlet too.
Yeah.
The spirit bear thing. That was pretty.
That was cool. Yeah.
I just like the whole. Now the show has turned. The American frontier now at this point is there's just endless stuff to figure out and do, and we know that the Revolutionary War is coming up, so that has a whole sort of momentum behind it this season. I would say the only reason I wouldn't have given it higher was just because the Roger Brianna drama at times was just
frustrating,
a little frustrating. And there was a few episodes where it did kind of just feel like the general plot wasn't going anywhere. The first season, the plot was pretty on point with just Claire is in this new land. What is this new land? She's trying to get back. Jack Black's an asshole. And it just let's get Jamie and go home. It just felt so on point. Season 2 was just half of it was kind of like what are we wasting time here in France, and the other half was Culloden building up. Great. Season 3, it went from this weird emotional trip that I love to going to Jamaica. So I mean, this season, again, it was I think I liked it more than season 3. In the fact that season 3 to me, towards the end, I still liked the show, but it was just kind of like we're going to Jamaica now. Like what are we doing?
Right.
So I feel like now we have a course. We're in America. Revolutionary War is the next Culloden, as far as what the show's doing.
Right.
So that's what I liked about it.
Super exciting. Let us know what your favorite moments were too. What did you like from the show? What didn't you like? Love to hear your thoughts.
What did you think about what we thought? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Did you not like it? We don't care, but let us know. We do care. And we love your comments too. We love reading them.
Yeah.
We'll send them back to each other if one of us didn't read it. So make sure you let us know. And if you made it through this whole thing, you're amazing. Good for you. 10 points to you. You can spend those anywhere you want.
Yeah. They don't matter.
Where Screen Chronicles points are accepted.
And please follow us on and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Like always say.
Goodbye.